When we talk about drawing the network in Urbano, there is three main ways how you can draw the network. First way is by interactively drawing in plan. Second way is by conversion of AutoCAD elements such as lines or 2D or 3D polylines. And the third way is by importing from some external source. These external sources can be, for example, Esri shapefiles, it can be various SQL databases, it can be plain text files, and also it can be EPANET EMP file, it can be LandXML, and also some other file formats. Okay, so I mentioned before that we have ribbon and we have our workspace. All the commands are in the main workspace, and some of the most commonly used commands are also exposed on the ribbon. So for example, for the drawing functions, if you right mouse button on the main branch draw, here you have draw network elements, conversion of CAD elements, and of course you have them here. So draw elements, conversion of CAD elements. You will notice that sometimes I will show you and I will start commands from the main workspace, but I just prefer using it from the ribbon because it's just much quicker. So let's start draw elements. And here you can see that this is a quite large dialog because many different options can be set up here. Also, it's important to say that when you move the dialog places and also the settings that you define, everything is saved in the dialogs and everything is saved in the application. So the next time when you open Urbano, this dialog will not be on the center, it will be here. So this is really nice feature. So you can see here that many different options can be set up here. For example, you can automatically label nodes and sections with some of these predefined configurations. You can also automatically set the pipes from the pipe catalog. The same is for the manholes. For now, I will keep everything blank. We will set up this later, but just that you know that while drawing, you can automatically basically set everything from pipes to manholes, to labels, everything. I will just define terrain elevations from DTM. So for the DTM type, I will choose Civil 3D. But here you can see what I showed you before. You can use Civil 3D if you run Urbano on top of Civil 3D. And if you work on plain AutoCAD, you can work with Urbano Terraform or even 3D faces created with some third software. That's also allowed. I will use Civil 3D and I will use this surface name that I created before and that I showed you. Also, this is very important. Draw additional points. Additional points are basically the points where the sections, where the pipes that you draw cross the triangles of DTM. So of course that you would like to have this turned on always. It's recommended that you have this turned on always because you will have more elevations on your profile, on your pipes, because if this option is turned off, you will have only elevations in the nodes. But if this is turned on, each point where your lines are crossing the triangles of DTM will be calculated, and here you will also have the elevation in profile. So this is something that I always keep turned on. For the invert elevation, okay, I would like to set invert elevation. You can see here that the referent pipe point is axis. So I will set that the center line of my pipe, when I assign the pipes later, will be 1.5 meter below the terrain. Okay, so let's now click draw. So I will click here on draw. Even if I didn't assign the DTM elevations immediately and invert elevations, you can set up everything later. For example, you go to input data and you can set up the terrain heights and invert elevations and pipes and manholes and everything. So that's why I didn't set up the pipes and the manholes. We will do that later, but I decided to immediately set terrain elevations and center line elevations of the pipe. So let's click now draw. And now I will use plain AutoCAD OSNAP to connect to the centers of these circles, these helping points. Sorry, I clicked here unintentionally, so you can see one node is here. So to delete something that maybe you unintentionally draw, don't use AutoCAD, just delete, because it will not be deleted from Urbano internal database. Here you have the icon for deleting elements, and you can delete it like this. Okay, so now let's actually start drawing. I will click on draw, and I will snap to the centers of these circles. And you can just continue drawing. Let's check some of the other options that you have here. One of these options, really important option, is the buffer distance. You can see, if we continue drawing, that this yellow circle appears when we are near the existing node. So if I would like to now click anywhere inside of this yellow circle, the software will not allow me, because this is the buffer zone, and it's basically as AutoCAD OSNAP. So you cannot draw inside of this circle. And this is the buffer distance. I like to reduce this number to 5 or 2, because this is just, maybe this default is too much. So I like to put it to 5. And now you can see that this yellow circle is smaller. Other options that you can use from this dialog, which are really interesting and useful, especially while designing water systems, is use default angles. You can turn on this option, and here you can define, you can just type the angles that you need, and then the software will allow you to draw only using these angles. So let's now check this. Now you see this compass, and I can draw only in these directions. Like I said, you can even type some additional angles here, like for example 22.5 or 60, and then you will have much more of this compass directions. So the draw functions the same. You can just click, and here we are. But I don't like to use this option, because then you are very limited. So I will turn this option off. And let's continue drawing. And notice in the tooltip how the terrain elevations are automatically read from the selected DTM, and the invert elevations or center line elevations are automatically calculated 1.5 meter below the terrain. Okay, now we draw one part of the network, and you can see that by default for the water system, the nodes are yellow and the lines are this cyan color. Because I work on this white background, because I think it's better for trainings and presentations, I will have to change these colors. Of course, these are plain AutoCAD elements. As you can see, these are lines. Like I said, Urbano is AutoCAD based application. So these are lines, and these are plain AutoCAD blocks. So if I want to change a color of a layer, I can open the layer manager and change these colors here. But this is not recommended, because if you do it here, if you do it with AutoCAD, you will just change it in your current drawing. So later on, if you export this to some other Urbano drawing, you can do this. You can export from one drawing and import it to another drawing, and then merge multiple systems and stuff like that. Then these colors will not transfer, because they are saved only in DWG. So to change color of the layer, go to the system function here and edit, like I showed you before for the system number 2 that we created. So here we will go to layers. Like I said, we can also give it a new name. For example, let's call this, because this place where we are designing this network, this is in Croatia, I will call it Novi, like Novi Vinodolski. And be sure to always click here, recreate layer names, so that the prefix is the name of the system. And now you can change the colors. This is the colors of the sections. Let's change this to this 150, a little bit darker blue color. And for the main nodes and the plain nodes, I will explain later which ones are mains and which one are plain. I will change this also to some colors that we can see much better on a white background. So main nodes will be red and plain nodes will be, let's say, this magenta color. Okay, let's click OK. And now you see that this is changed here. And of course, it's changed in the AutoCAD layer manager as well. So this is something that is really important to know, that even though you work on top of AutoCAD, you have to use Urbano functions to do some modifications. Okay, so we have drawn one part of the network interactively. Let's now convert this part of the network from plain AutoCAD objects. So let's select some of these polylines. And here in AutoCAD properties, you can see these are plain 2D AutoCAD polylines with no elevations. And now we will convert them to intelligent Urbano topology. Okay, also, if you want to increase the line widths or line types, change the line types, you can also do it here. Now I notice that they are still not as visible as I would like to have them. So let's go to edit, let's go to layers, and for the sections, I will change the line width from default to 0.3, and also I will do it for the nodes. That's how we will see these elements much better on this white background. Click OK, and now this is much better. Okay, the second function, which I said for drawing, is drawing by conversion of CAD elements, or you can start it from the ribbon. So this is it. You can see that many of the same options can be set up here. You can automatically define terrain elevations. They can be from Z coordinate if you have 3D polylines, or in our case, we have 2D polylines, so we will set elevations from DTM. DTM type will be, again, Civil 3D DTM surface. And of course, we will use additional points. We will not set up pipes immediately, but we will define center line of our pipes to be on a constant depth below terrain of 1.5 meters. For the labels, we will keep it empty. And also, this is really nice option, create arrays from polylines. Keep this turned on. I will show you what are arrays a little bit later. So each of these original polyline will be saved as something that we call array, which is very useful for later drawing of the profiles, selections, inputting of data, and so on. Also, for conversion of CAD elements, you have this really nice options for layer filtering. Because just imagine if you have here many different layers, you don't have to turn them off and then turn them back on later. You can just use this layer filtering. You can pick the layers from the list, or you can, with this icon, select the layer from the plan. That layer is recognized, and now you can freely select the entire drawing, and the software will select just those elements on defined layer. And now we can convert this, and everything will be converted from plain AutoCAD polylines to intelligent Urbano objects consisting of nodes and sections.